chocolatey was so good, and I remember it. As rich as it gets. I'm salivating at the thought of it. I'll leave that for Rachel to lick. She'll probably quite enjoy that.
Fast work.
That goes in for about an hour, about 170 degrees, and let's see what happens.
And Rachel's quick to sample her rival's drinks.
Darn, that's quite good. I mean, it's okay. It's fine. It's really good.
Oi, she's got cake on my shirt. I've been took ages to make this cake without any chocolate on me.
I'm sorry.
She's not. Shouldn't the baking queen check her concoction?
It's at a complete slant. It's a bit like the Leaning Tower of Pisa, actually. It's completely uneven.
Perhaps that was the slanty hill you've been cooking on. Didn't this happen yesterday with the quiche?
The SWRI will probably just laugh me out of the show if I come along with a completely lopsided cake. So I'm going to make it again. That's it. I'm going to make it again.
At least she's taken the competition seriously. Cake, take 2.
I don't often have to redo the whole cake, but I'm not often perched on the side of a hill. Woo!
Rachel's cleverly made a wedge of tin foil to even the angle of the van.
Okay. Wish me luck. Whew!
I thought a good chef didn't rely on luck, and Theo spotted Rachel's first reject cake.
Wow. I'm a great big waste, not want not.
Hold on. What happens if the other cake burns and I have to use that one?
Well, just make another one, won't we? I'll give you a hand next time. It's very, very good. Mine's chocolatey, but that's it, really chocolatey. I'm a bit worried now.
Well, enough sitting around. Theo gets on to making his icing.
Very, very simple. 50 grams of butter. Icing sugar, she goes. Double cream. And last of all, some chocolate. So, very rich. Make sure you stir this around because it's very important the icing sugar actually melts. But what happens with this, you get the sugar will give it a lovely kind of sheen. Delicious.
Bob's your uncle, Theo. And Rachel's pleased with her cake numero 2.
Nice, gentle little spring. It's level. Yeah. That's what I need.
Being the best cake maker I know, you just check my cake.
Aye, she had to make hers twice.
You should start again.
Shut up, you.
I think you should take it out now before it dries out too much on top.
You think so?
Yeah.
Good tip, Rachel. Oh, perhaps a little too late. Theo's cake has completely collapsed.
Let's make it again.
This is turning into an absolute disaster.
I could press the cake, I could put a weight on it, it's still quite warm, and flip it over, and then butter ice it.
Yeah.
Has Theo lost his mind? The cake's cooked but lost its shape, so he's going to compress it with a kettle?
If you win.
Where there's a will, there's a way. So let's just leave that.
Rachel's whipped up a delicious looking almond cake, and rival Theo's created a yummy coffee-flavoured recipe. But they've both departed from the Apfeldi show schedule. The clear instruction states to bake a sponge.
That's great.
Another cup of tea?
I'd love one. But we don't have a kettle.
Oh.
After the day you two've had, I think you need something a little stronger. Don't stay up too late. Tomorrow's going to be a big day. It's the day of the country show cook-off at the Apfeldi show. A record 3,800 people have turned out in their finest garb. Some in the hope that their fluffy and feathered friends will bag them a trophy. But it's also an event of heavyweight proportions, celebrating Scottish heritage with Highland games, attracting young and old from near and far.
I really love coming to these shows because it gets me to try things that I've never tried before.
You meet lots of people and it's really quite enjoyable.
And it's here that our chefs need to impress. The Scottish Women's Rural Institute Industrial Tent, where, apart from one open to everyone category, all entrants are SWRI members.
Oh, it's not the taking part, it's the winning, isn't it?
The SWRI was set up 95 years ago to kickstart a social life for farmers' wives. For years, these hardy women have learnt to make a little go a long way, becoming skilled crafters and cooks. Today, the local entrants are out in force, and they know how high expectations are.
It's very, very strict here, but it's nice that you know the standards you do.
Oh, very strict, and the judges' decisions are final.
As newcomers, our chefs obviously don't realise a sponge means a sponge. But they better get a wiggle on, as they only have an hour to plate up alongside their competitors, or they won't be judged. And they still need to put the icing on the cake. Literally.
Oh my goodness. My icing. Oh shoot.
All right, calm down, calm down. It's only
a competition.
It's only a show. You're a maniac.
She really wants to win this.
Oh, yours is perfect.
Quick thinking required.
Oh yeah, you know, I thought the cake was going to be the easiest thing.
It kind of should have been for you.
And that's looking a bit more like it.
Sorry.
Sorry?
Nothing.
Do you have a problem? No, that's looking great.
It's got a good edge, isn't it?
Right? That's it.
Whoop!
Oh, you joker. They may not be laughing for long, as they're about to see how stiff the competition is, including Bridget Black, who's been entering these shows for 30 years. She's tipped as a hot favourite in the single sponge category and is modest to boot, but her fellow competitors acknowledge her skills.
Bridget. Oh yes, she's a great baker.
And even though this is only Carol Middlemass's second year entering the baking section, she's made a strong sponge contender.
I'm quite pleased with it.
How's she done it?
Buy the best ingredients that you can, and your chocolate cake is bound to turn out well.
Oh, don't be fooled by the sweet exterior. It's fearsome competitors like these our chefs have to beat, and all under the intense scrutiny of the SWRI judges. Kate Imlay's been judging for 20 years, having passed all her proficiency tests and judging exams. Today she's paired up with Jeannie Black, who's an old hand at judging here at the Appenfeldy show, and they have some strong words of wisdom for competitors.
You can go all wrong sometimes if you don't read the schedule properly.
Uh-oh, this may not bode well for Theo and Rachel.
Single chocolate sponge, here we go.
Standard's very high. I've never had less chance of winning. They are all classic chocolate sponges with butter icing.
Funny that.
I'm slightly optimistic.
Are you?
The clock's ticking and the hatches are battened down for the judging of our chef's unconventional recipes. As first prize wins £1, second 70p and third 50p, there may not be big bucks at stake, but both their professional reputations are. So, whilst they anxiously wait, Theo and Rachel soak up the atmosphere.
Wow, the socks look so warm.
Kate and Jeannie are poised, ready to judge the 11 entries in the single chocolate sponge with butter icing category, and they know exactly what they're looking for.
If you're going to enter a competition, you've got to give it your best shot. And maybe this person was just in a hurry.
Theo's rustic efforts made a bad first impression.
Because it's supposed to be a single sponge.
Oh, Black Mark 1. His cake's too big. But is it delicious?
I don't know what that is. Oh dear. No, I'm sorry, but that's not even a sponge. It's more like a pudding, like a tart or something. I'm just going to put that one back. Not according to schedule. It's not a sponge.
Ouch. Theo's going to be pretty deflated. They won't even taste it. Others are prettier and pleasing to the palate, like Bridget's, but she's entered a dozen categories.
It might have the edge for flavour, that one.
Rachel's now up for scrutiny.
It's pretty solid. So I don't think I would even like to try and lift it up. Quite a dark, bitter flavour, that one. It's just very wet and heavy. I'm looking for something lighter and more airy, but I can't get it to clean off my knife.
Not a resounding success for our so-called baking queen. Is she still in with a chance to win? Only time will tell.
Rather a messy class. Hope I haven't got it all over my face as well. No, right.
Judging over, the tent reopens. It's time for our chefs to face their fate.
Well, mine hasn't won anything.
But did our Queen Baker scoop a prize?
First prize, second prize, third prize.
That'll be a no then.
I think our plan backfired big time.
Rachel's lost for words.
Well, we had a nice day, and judging by this, we got it wrong.
I should have been able to handle it.
I know.
Rachel didn't stand a chance. First place prize was snapped up by Mary Buchanan, an enigmatic baking veteran who's been entering these shows for 25 years. And Bridget not only placed in 9 of the 12 categories she's entered this year, but also scooped second prize for a single chocolate sponge. She's happy to share her secret.
It said single chocolate sponge.
It did.
So when we think of a sponge, we think of something being light and feathery, very velvety.
Not a almondy towards.
Yes,
like
sad to say.
Time for Bridget to break the news that Theo's wasn't even tasted.
Well, it was quite heavy looking, so it wouldn't have perhaps been tasted. You can always tell the ones that are all tasted. They have a little V cut out of it.
Do you know Mrs. Buchanan?
I do know Mrs. Buchanan, Mary. She's a super baker. And has won lots of prizes here today.
We are not worthy, Mary. I'm in awe of Mary Buchanan.
So you should be. She wiped the floor with you so-called professionals. Our chef's cakes may have been flops, but there are lots of local winners here.
Oh, second prize.
That one at the back is the champion.
I've never won anything. I'm so proud.
Carol didn't place in the sponge category, but won this year's trophy for the most points with an impressive 8 firsts. But Rachel and Theo leave with their tails between their legs.
I'm not in my comfort zone in a way, sort of baking a show like this. They didn't even taste my cake. I think the problem was that you get lost in what you're supposed to be making, and I thought I'd make a kind of spongy chocolate cake, but it just didn't work out as a sponge.
Rachel's cake was more of a sponge, but the best-known baker in the business is devastated to be going home empty-handed.
I definitely should be able to make a cake. We should have listened. It was a sponge. So we've learned a lesson. And the one that won, I think, was absolutely worthy of winning. Yeah, Mary Buchanan made a fine cake.
So next time, make sure you make exactly what they're asking for. 2 competitions down. Rachel's still edging it with 3 points, but Theo is trailing in her wake with a big fat 0. Come on, Theo! But there's still plenty of time for him to claw his way back. Next time on Country Show Cook-Off, our foodie road trip takes our chefs north to Keith in Bamshire for a stuffed mushroom competition. But it's not without its stuff-ups. See you then.
Sugar.
They stuck to the tin.